guys, today I'm doing something a little bit different. As you can see, I have no makeup on, and that's because I'm doing the makeup book tag, and it's kind of like a book tag where you talk about books while you're getting ready and putting on makeup. I'll have a link down to the original video down below. I have all the questions in front of me, so I will be kind of looking down and kind of going all over the place as I get ready. Typically when I'm doing my makeup, I'm watching YouTube videos or listening to a podcast, so this is going to be a little different. So bear with me because I've never done anything like this before, and it's actually kind of fun because I love makeup, I love getting ready. It's kind of like my me time, so it's going to be kind of interesting talking about my other love, which is books, while I get ready. So yeah, bear with me because I'm going to be kind of trying to keep myself in frame and do everything that I need to do to kind of keep this tag going because there are several questions. So before I start, I'm just going to put kind of my hair back here because it's just going to get in the way, so it's going to be really cute. Just bear with me. Alright, so the first question is primer. Pick a book that left a lasting impression. And before I put on my primer, I usually moisturize with some sunblock. I always wear sunscreen because in Florida the sun is always out, and it's just like really strong. So I always wear just regular sunblock. This is the one that I use. It's like Neutrogena 55 SPF. It's clear face. It's supposed to be for the face. And I kind of just slather this on everywhere. It is so weird getting ready with, I usually just look at this mirror, and now I'm kind of looking at my phone to make sure that you can see everything that I'm doing, and that I'm not leaving like streaks and stuff. So yes, a book that left a lasting impression. For this one, I chose The Glass Castle by Jeannette. It's a memoir, and it left a lasting impression on me because not only is her family super dysfunctional and a lot of crazy stuff happens to them, they're very poor and her parents are just completely useless and neglectful, while at the same time being loving. I'm using a primer now. This is a mattifying primer because again, the heat in Florida is no joke. I just become like an oil slick. And this book was really my first real memoir where I read a memoir and I was like, wow, that was really entertaining. It wasn't dry. It was still beautifully written, even though it's just someone talking about their life. And before that book, I never had that experience before, so that's why I picked this one. And because the story and their family and everything that happened to her was so dysfunctional, and just I couldn't help but feel so sorry for them, it really did leave a lasting impression on me. And to this day, The Glass Castle is my favorite memoir. I just have not read anything since that has topped it, in my opinion, so I would definitely say that that left a lasting impression on me. And wow, this video is probably going to be like half an hour long because I just rambled so much just on the first question, and there's like 8 more to go. Okay, foundation. Favorite first book in a series? I'm going to try to just keep this moving. For this one, I guess I have a disclaimer because I don't really read a lot of series. I can maybe count them in one hand, the series that I've actually completed. And, you know, so that's really going to affect my answer for this. But I chose Mistborn by Sanderson. First, because it's one of the few series I completed, like I said. And second, because it should really have been a standalone book, in my opinion. I really feel like books 2 and 3 really like did not even, like, they just fell really short compared to Mistborn. And it's just such a good, fun read that if you're not used to fantasy or science fiction or anything like that, I think it's a perfect like first book to try if you want to see if you are going to be into those kind of genres. So wow, this is looking, I'm looking fantastic right now. This is just really sexy. Let me just blend this out. But yeah, I definitely feel like books 2 and 3 just did not have the same type of feel as the first one. The first one felt more complete. I don't know, I just enjoyed it so much more. The other two were a complete letdown. So I'm gonna say Mistborn is definitely probably the best book of that series, and the first book in a series that I actually enjoyed the most out of pretty much any other series that I've tried. You know, I'm not counting Lord of the Rings because I'm trying to keep myself from mentioning Lord of the Rings in every tag video that I do, because that's what ends up happening every single time. Alright, so the next thing here is concealer, a character you wish you could get rid of. And this is really funny because I was recently watching Roxanne from A Novel Sanctuary, and she was talking about Jane Eyre and how she did not like Mr. Rochester, and I completely agree. When I first read Jane Eyre a few years ago, I totally didn't really notice how awful their relationship was, Jane Eyre and Mr. Rochester. But the second time that I read Jane Eyre, which was I think last year, that whole relationship, his whole personality, their conversations, everything about him annoyed me. It just irritated me so much, and that surprised me because I had never really thought about it when I first read it. I was just so focused on Jane Eyre and her story, and I thought that she was such a fun character to read about, because in that time she was really ahead of her time in a lot of ways. So I reread that book, and I was already really nervous about rereading Jane Eyre because it's one of my favorite books, and I thought, you know, it's been a couple years, maybe my feelings about it have changed, and sadly they kind of did, and it was because of their relationship. So definitely a character I wish I could get rid of is Mr. Rochester. I wish that Jane Eyre would have just been about Jane Eyre and nothing else. Actually, not even the relationship with the priest. He could have just not been in the book too. Like, they're completely useless, and if I had it my way, Jane Eyre would just be Jane Eyre by, you know, her story. She would have been single, or, you know, maybe married someone like in an epilogue or something. So yeah, definitely that. And then let me move on, because I've already been filming for 8 minutes. This is going to be a nightmare to edit, and I just apologize in advance because I'm going to be here a while. The next one is powder, favorite last book in a series. And like I'm going to say again, series are really not my thing. I don't really read them that often. But I guess I'm going to say Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling, the last book in Harry Potter, because it's really the only last book in a series that I can say I truly enjoyed. Even Lord of the Rings, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to mention Lord of the Rings, but even Lord of the Rings was just not, I don't know, it wasn't as good as the other two. I hate saying that. And Deathly Hallows was pretty good for the last book in the series. I thought it was pretty satisfying for the most part, and you know, when you've dedicated so much time to the first couple of books, you are really expecting an ending that really satisfies you. So yeah, I'm gonna pick that one. I'm actually not done with powder. I kind of press it in, and then I go in with this huge brush so I can cover the rest of my face. I know I look like a ghost, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, so the next one is eyebrows, and this is a book you think everyone should read. And I have something else in here, but now that I'm thinking about Lord of the Rings, I'm sorry you guys, like, I love Lord of the Rings. I guess they're just gonna have to be in every tag video. But I really do think that The Hobbit, technically it's not Lord of the Rings, it's a prequel. Lord of the Rings is kind of its own thing, but The Hobbit is just the perfect little fantasy book. It's really short, it's funny, it's, you know, an epic adventure, it has fun characters, it has a dragon, and I don't know, it was just so much fun to read. It's one of the few books that I can read over and over and still really enjoy and still feel like I'm in some magical time period where hobbits roam free with dwarves and, you know, dragons destroy things and there's treasure. And for it to be such a popular book and have such meaning, you know, in literature and things like that, I do think that it's one that a lot of different types of people would like it, you know. Just gonna brush through my eyebrows here. I'm pretty lucky. My eyebrows are naturally full. I don't really have to do that much to them. Alright, the next one here is eyeliner, but I'm actually gonna skip down to contour because that's the steps that I usually take. And that question is a book that you could do with some slimming down. I don't mind long books. I enjoy them quite a bit, actually. I like taking my time with them. And a lot of long books are so entertaining and so much fun that you kind of forget, you know, that you're reading a super long book. There are some books that if you were to slim them down, nothing would be lost in the story. So yeah, I went to my shelf and I looked at a couple of books, and the one that I think would still be really good but could just, you know, slim down is The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende. This is a book with a lot of magical realism. It's a multi-generational story, so it spans years and years and years, and there's so many different characters in the book, and a lot of ridiculous humorous stuff happens, so it's not bad to read. But for some reason, I found myself thinking that it started getting repetitive towards the end. There's only so many times you can make me smile. I want things to happen. Towards the end, I was just kind of like, okay, I really want to just get to the end now. And that doesn't usually happen. For blush, because that's the next thing I'm going to do, is a book that had some cringeworthy romance. And this was hard for me. I was thinking, should I just start rattling off YA novels? But, I don't even remember like the most cringeworthy of those, so I was just like, let me just go with a pretty safe bet, and I chose Lolita for this. It was just, it was such a tough read, and I mean, it's a brilliant book, but I can safely say I'm never gonna reread it, you know, it's one of those things. Okay, so for highlighter, a book that brightened your day, and I chose The Night Circus by Eyre and Morgenstern because it was just such a magical read, and it was beautiful, and it really got me back into reading. I looked forward to reading it. I thought, you know, I was just so relieved that a super hyped book wasn't gonna be another huge disappointment to me. So I was just really excited reading that book, and it's definitely a book that I can see myself rereading, and I'm really excited. I think there's going to be like an adaptation pretty soon, and that's going to be so much fun to bring that book to life, because it's definitely a book that sparks your imagination and really makes you feel like you're there, and the setting is just so, like I said, magical that that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Let's see, what else do I want to do now? I guess I'll do my eyes. I'll do my eyeliner. The question for that is pick a dark and mysterious book, and this was really hard for me. I really had to go back to my shelves again and choose something that, I mean, I guess I could have picked a mystery book or, you know, something in that genre, but I didn't. I just picked the book that I felt was mysterious to me because I really could not figure it out till the end. And you know, there's a lot of mystery books that don't really feel dark. So the one that I ended up picking was Beloved by, hold on, I don't think I could talk and do eyeliner at the same time. I've been doing eyeliner for years and I still haven't been able to nail getting both wings to look exactly the same. Anyway, this book was just so dark for me. And it's not because it's about a slave. Usually, you know, you read a book about, you know, slavery, and that obviously is a really dark topic, but this book, Beloved, was just dark in a whole different way, and as you read it, you really are trying to figure it out because there's a lot of myth and mystery, and there's like a heavy atmosphere that's surrounding this entire story. And then for mascara, pick a long book. I guess the one that is really, really, really long but did not feel long at all for me was The Count of Monte Cristo. This is a book that I hope to reread sometime soon because I just remember enjoying it so much, but the story is so complex and there's so much going on that I don't really remember all of it. But that book definitely, like, when I first picked it up, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be like a struggle for me. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. My edition was like 1,100 pages or something like that, something crazy. And I started reading it and I was just pleasantly surprised. The characters were all unique, at least to me, and who doesn't love a good revenge story? Like a well-crafted, well-done, satisfying revenge story. I just really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was just really well done. So I'm just going to, there's no question for eyeshadow. It kind of just stops at lipstick, which the lipstick question is your favorite book kiss. And I am gonna do a hard pass on this one because I honestly can't remember a scene with like a kiss that, you know, unless it's like a kiss from a vampire, you know, a kiss where it's like really memorable. I'm not really into romances like that, so, you know, I don't have an answer for this. What is a book tag that you've watched recently or stumbled upon recently that you think would be a lot of fun to do? Haven't really, you know, been keeping up with booktube for the last couple of months. When I wasn't reading, I wasn't really watching a lot of booktube. I was trying to read and everything I picked up was not sticking, and that just really like disappointed me. So I found this tag. I recently subscribed to a girl named Karen May. I'll have her channel linked down below. She's a relatively new booktuber. And I stumbled upon her channel, and you know, sometimes when I discover a new booktuber, I kind of watch their recent videos and kind of skim them to see if anything like sticks out. And I saw that she did this tag, and I was just like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I would love to do a tag like that. If you know of a book tag that would be a lot of fun to do that is, you know, relatively new, then let me know. Because I do like doing book tags. I haven't really found one recently that I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to do that one, you know? Alright, so this is my finished face. I'm going to tag anybody that is into makeup because I know not everybody's into it, but if you are and you are also into books, then feel free to consider yourself tagged. I think it's a lot of fun. Some of the questions are fun to talk about. So it looks like I've been filming for like 25 minutes, so this is probably going to be a really long video. So if you've stuck it out till the end, then thank you. I appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments if you know, want to talk about any of the books that I mentioned, or if you have kind of your own answers to some of the questions. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!